First of all, could we just start? I ask a basic one usually. Could you tell us about your character? You play Big Farmer Jay in the movie. I'd love to know about him and why you wanted to play him.
Big Farmer Jay is a social media influencer who lives on a farm and who is a rapper and who uses his farm animals to help him in his content. Um, and he enjoys doing that because we don't really get to see content like that from farmers, especially not rapping farmers. And so I think that we hadn't seen this character before, and the first brothers were amenable to creating this character with me, and I'm happy that I am the one who got to play it.
Oh, I'd love to hear more because I know you are a rapper in real life, so you're obviously like infusing those skills. Um, could you? So you talked about how you sort of worked with the first brothers who directed the film to like create this. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, because initially that's not what the role was. The role was just Farmer John, and there was a big country white boy that would probably do that. And then, my manager brought this to me and we were able to proselytize them to try something different than what they originally had written. And they were amenable to it. And, they collaborated with me to, help create this idea that I had of this interesting social media influencer that we hadn't seen before, and it worked out.
Yeah, and it's that's really cool because Jay is such he's like the star of the show in a lot of ways. I think he has so many really cool, exciting moments. But to be able to see through that, like seeing the farmer character and then uh turning him into somebody else, I have to wonder, you must have liked that script. So what was it like when you originally read it and it's about these influencer fighting these man-eating dogs?
Listen, I have been blessed to be a part of Creature Features. And, I was like, oh, well, what is the next evolution of this? Man eating rabid dogs. That sounds about right to me. Like, I thought that that would be a fun time, and it was in a great location. And yeah, and luckily we survived that one too.
I wanted to ask about the location. What was it like being on set and shooting that? And how much of that was were you guys like actually on an island for that, or was it mostly on a set? Like what did that look like?
It was on the it was an island. Yeah, we went to Guatemala and they location scouted and they found amazing places for us to go. We didn't film anything like on an actual set. It was all like practical locations.
That is cool. And it does give the film like a like an adventurous feel. I was I was sort of curious, like even going back to the script, it is like such a combination of like horror and comedy and action and thriller and all that stuff. When it comes to your performance, how did you balance those different genres?
Um, I feel like I feel like I just naturally have like the ability to do the drama and the comedy. I feel like I was able to, like, in the heroic moments, I was able to step into that aspect of me. And then, I naturally have like levity and a jocular energy about me. And so it's like easy for me to step into like the comedy space of it to be the comedy relief. And, I thought that I would represent, a certain group of people that needed to be represented in this film.
Yeah, and you have like the most, at least what I would see as the most physically demanding role in the film because you're like running and jumping off of cliffs and doing all this like these crazy action pieces. I wanted to know two things from that. What was like the most challenging or exciting scene to film, and also how did you prepare either like physically or mentally for the role?
Um, well, in the preparation, I go to the gym, I work out, I try and stay in shape, even though my weight is transitory. It goes up and down depending on what I'm doing. Um, And physically, the most difficult was probably, well, the most fun I had was on the tower scene, like when the tower crashed down, and that scene with Troy and I with the precipitous cliff situation. That was the most fun that I had, and that's probably like my favorite scene. And I love like my scenes like working with Troy.
Yeah, and that was such a cool piece of the whole film, and it has two really good action parts like right next to each other. And it's like it's so chaotic, the whole film is, and I have to wonder, like, was the environment on set, I have to imagine it was very fun, because when you're doing something that's just so outrageous, it's like you guys have to have high energy all the time. Was it like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm the one that has the highest energy. So I'm the actual like the oldest person that is in the cast, but it's almost like I'm the youngest because like I have, such like um legarity about me, man. And I'm wild, crazy, loud, fun, silly, you know, goofy guy all the time, and so it kind of like brings that energy to everybody else on set.
Yeah, and so it's you do seem like such a key part, and you're not just like an actor who's very involved on the screen, but also behind it. You did music for the film. You wrote and performed two songs. Could you tell us about those?
Well, I have a song in the film that starts off the film in the first scene called Speed. Uh and it was a song that I had in my catalog, and on set we would play that song and we would be saying it, and we touted for it to the powers that be, and Griff and Nathan were they were amenable to the idea of it, and they granted us this benefaction of having the song Speed in there.
It's clearly these directors, they're so flexible, like the way that they worked with you to get a song in the film and also to like change the whole character. Can you just tell me about what it was like to work with Nathan and Griff?
Oh man, they're great. Like Griff is my boy. That's my boy for life. He's a great actor who I love as an actor and as a human being, and because he's an actor director, we kind of have like a short form of communication. Nathan is like a brainiac, and we share a love of words together, and he's very like intense, and is has such vim about him, and so we connect on that level, and I enjoy working with both of them.
Um, you are a very talented and multifaceted actor, and your career has been rather diverse. I have to know, what is your favorite genre to perform in?
Um, Good question. My favorite genre to perform in would probably be action comedy, maybe. Uh, and if you were to, I Dang. Because like if you were to challenge me and say, well, like in what, I'm trying to think like if I were to say whatever that was, those are my favorite things that I've ever done. Like I know I love Blue Mountain State. That was like super fun to be able to do. I love the Rush Hour TV show. So yeah, I think action comedy is like my favorite to do.
Yeah, and that's just so fun. I have one question that I'll probably end up having to cut because it's more about spoilers. But at the end of the film, your character is, it's like this. It ends on you, which is like I thought that you were dead, and I was pissed about that. And then when I saw that, oh shit, he's still here. That was so interesting. What do you think is going to happen with this character now? I have to know.
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. It's open-ended. So it means it's a possibility you know, of a return. I hope so. Hopefully this movie does well and they want to make another one, because I definitely would be down for that.